Well, hi again. I think that our topic today really relates in some way to almost all of us who have come through DID or sexual abuse. We're going to be talking about how to make our place safe. We don't mean like how to get a security system, although that might be helpful, but we're talking about making it a safe place, a place that is peaceful, a place that when you go out to get groceries, you come back home and you just feel, oh, this is where I belong. This is my place. Usually, if you've had any kind of trauma, you come away from it with a chaos on the inside. Whether it's the DID thing of voices or arguments happening in our head or whatever, there's a lot of emotional clutter in our mind. And I think that there's even for some a level of craziness. You know, I remember, I may have used the example before, but going in the grocery store and getting triggered and just out loud saying, my father has a crack in his head. Things like that kind of sort of craziness happening, and the emotion that often accompanies DID. The chaos that's in our mind is often reflected in how we keep our home. I remember the first time the lady who was like my mentor arrived at my house when I was gone to drop off something. And she went in my bedroom and was horrified about the state of my bedroom. There were clothes hanging off of dressers and ironing boards that were loaded with old pizza boxes, and she was just shocked. Well, that was just how I lived. I didn't really attend to that very much, because the clutter for me, in one way, almost was, I didn't think of it at the time, but I think now that it was a safety for me. I felt safe, and it doesn't make sense logically, but if there were just all kinds of things, especially in the bedroom and especially in the bed. I remember visiting a lady who had gone through a lot of trauma, and I said to her, well, Carlene, how in the world can you fit in your bed? Because she had books and old wrappers from McDonald's, and she had, again, the pizza things and old clothes that she wanted to take to Goodwill and her other clothes. And I think that's a picture of what has happened to the inside of us emotionally. Especially, like I said, the bed and the bedroom. We mostly find that when there's trauma, there's trouble sleeping. I remember it used to take me 2 hours to fall asleep every night, and then I didn't stay asleep. But I think it's common that there's a problem with sleeping if you've had that kind of trauma. So it's understandable, especially that the bed being kind of a symbol of all that had gone wrong and all that shouldn't have been, that it makes it difficult to bring any kind of peace or order, especially, like I said, to the bedroom. There's two places to find safety. There's an inner safety where the parts have a place to go. Again, those of you who don't experience DID daily, it may sound strange, but you can find a place on the inside where the parts can go when things are stressful, or you go to the dentist or other intense things. So there's that inside kind of a place, but we're going to be talking more about the outside place, that place in your bedroom or your front room. As we were talking about the bed situation, there are some practical things we can do that we'll mention later, but also there's practical things you can do to make it safe and a place that the chaos has been eliminated. Usually keeping a house up is a chore for anybody. But if you have mind noise and emotional ups and downs, it's almost impossible. But what I've found is if you can take a little corner or a little place, maybe ask the inside, where's the safest place in this room? And put a little chair there, let them pick a chair, and maybe a table. Put a few things on the table. And that would be a little safe place, so that when you come home from shopping and you're just a little bit stressed from all the interaction, you can just go there and sit and just consider it a place sort of like a little bubble where you can enjoy the peace and the lack of chaos. So you want to be sure that you don't let it pile up with the table with different things. Just keep it very nice. I think that they say make attainable goals, and that's important in this, because keeping that one little safe place, I think, can be very helpful. We talked about some practical things, or we didn't, I promised to, so here it goes. One of the things that you might do if there's a fear of your bed or a problem sleeping is to think back, what was the color of the sheets of the bed where the wickedness took place? Back in my healing time, 50 years ago, all they had was white sheets, but now you can get all kinds of crazy things with designs on them and all different colors. But let the inside choose the color of sheets that's different from what you experienced when you were young. And it's amazing how much better you'll start sleeping, but also it's disconnecting the bed from the awfulness. Another thing you can do is be proactive. By that I mean you can just make the announcement inside to the parts or out loud, whatever's most effective, that you're not going to let this bed make you scared. This bed is different than the other bed. Or whatever sentences would be helpful to disconnect the current bed from what you experienced in the past. One of the things that I think is important is to think of that spot that we talked about where you've got a chair and a table, to make it a fun spot. Maybe take one fun thing and put it on the table and help the ones inside relax so that their stress doesn't carry over to your intensity and stress, so that it becomes a very positive, fun place for them. You might even have them vote, okay, today what game or what coloring book or whatever do we want to bring to our safe spot. As I said before, the clutter on the outside is usually just a reflection of that clutter on the inside. But I hope my suggestions have been practical enough to be of use to you, to try to make it so that the bedroom or your entire house isn't a place that makes you fear or that reminds you of things from the past, but it's a peaceful place. And those of us who have experienced trauma realize there's not much peace inside. So hopefully these suggestions will help to bring that peace to you. Until next time, bye-bye. Thanks for listening.